Teofimo Lopez says that he's going to fight Shakur Stevenson dirty.
Stylistically, when you see a fighter like him, it is not illegal to do certain punches and throw certain punches or hit certain areas.
What were your thoughts when you seen that news?
Well, I mean, he's been acting a little bit radical and pissing a lot of people off. So that was, to me, wasn't a surprise. I knew something was gonna pop up,
Teofimo Lopez, don't run. Don't run. You ran from the Haney fight already, dude. Come on, don't run from this one, bro. For real, bro. Stop with all the antics, bro. I know you like attention, but damn. Get in there and fight against Shakur Stevenson, bro. For real. You know what I'm saying? Stop playing. Stop playing around. Shakur ain't playing. No.
What I had heard is that this drug is not detectable in blood, that it's a drug that's detectable in urine.
And that's the question I'm with. He's a snake in a suit. That's all. He's a snake in a suit. Bro, he let...
Shocking news has just rocked the boxing world as Teofimo Lopez has failed a drug test ahead of his fight with Shakur Stevenson. Eddie Hearn's reaction shows just how serious this is, calling it outrageous and sickening. Now the fight itself hangs in the balance, and fans are left wondering if it will even go ahead or be postponed, while Stevenson's camp gains a huge psychological edge from this controversy.
But do you know what is the absolute liberty about all of this? Is the way that he, after he failed that test on Monday, texts you to say, I swear I've not taken anything. This is sabotage. This is just a system against me. Fuck off. It's an absolute, and you know what, it makes me sick that
Gervonta Tank Davis's situation adds even more fuel to the fire, showing how fighters sometimes risk everything despite positive tests. With Teofimo Lopez now failing his drug test, it's clear the fight with Shakur Stevenson is off. This opens the door for Stevenson to step in and face whoever's ready, and the moral high ground is entirely his, as fans see the contrast between a disciplined, clean fighter and Lopez's chaos. The spotlight shifts fully to Stevenson, who now has the opportunity to make a statement without controversy overshadowing his performance.
It's positive, and we're still gonna let him fight. Still was gonna let him fight.
Dillian White fought after he tested.
Who?
Dillian
White. After testing positive, I didn't even know that. Bro, he's a snake, bro.
Ade Oladipo is struggling to explain how Teofimo Lopez could test positive, even suggesting there might be other explanations. The reaction shows just how shocking and messy this situation is. For Shakur Stevenson, this controversy is a massive advantage as he now prepares for a fight where his opponent's credibility is already in question. Fans are left questioning Lopez's integrity and his ability to focus, while Stevenson stands as the clean, disciplined fighter ready to capitalize on this chaos.
If it's somehow in his system from other means, I know that might sound crazy, but I guess we have to give him the benefit of the doubt, do we? I'd like to think we do. But yeah, this is wild. Honestly, this is wild.
Adam Smith points out that the news has exploded on social media, leaving uncertainty about the official details. Teofimo Lopez's failed drug test has thrown the fight plans into complete disarray. Shakur Stevenson now looks like the professional who avoids these distractions, staying ready while Lopez's credibility crumbles. This adds pressure on Lopez and highlights Stevenson's calm, disciplined approach, making fans even more confident in Stevenson's ability to handle high stakes without relying on luck or controversy.
Surprise, and I'll wait and see what happens. I mean, I don't know the findings. We don't know. I haven't seen statements really. I don't know. It's come out in the social.
Duke McKenzie is openly questioning Teofimo Lopez's world-class status, and the failed drug test only reinforces that narrative. Stevenson, in contrast, has consistently proven himself against top-level competition and maintains a clean, disciplined approach. Fans are starting to see this as a moral and skill advantage, where Stevenson's professionalism stands out against Lopez's mounting issues. This moment is shaping the narrative that Stevenson is the true world-class fighter, while Lopez is stumbling under his own controversies.
I don't think he's world-class. He's not really my cup of tea. I mean, I don't look at boxing probably the way you do, or most sort of fans do. I look at it from a box.
Johnny Nelson is highlighting the reckless nature of Teofimo Lopez's decisions. Testing positive for a banned substance shows a lack of foresight and respect for the sport. Shakur Stevenson now benefits from the situation both morally and strategically. Fans see him as disciplined and ready, while Lopez has created doubts about his own professionalism. The conversation has shifted from who will win to who represents the true standard of boxing integrity, and Stevenson clearly emerges ahead in that comparison.
People think, oh, you won't know what stays for 2 weeks. I don't know, why would you take it knowing there's a possibility that it's going to be in your system? And why would you take it for our sport anyway?
Eddie Hearn makes it crystal clear that Teofimo Lopez has crossed a serious line by testing positive for a banned substance under the WADA code. This is not a minor issue or a technicality. It is a direct violation that affects the integrity of the fight. For Shakur Stevenson, this is a huge advantage because he remains clean and disciplined while Lopez's credibility and preparation are now under question. The situation puts all eyes on Stevenson, who can now approach the fight with confidence while Lopez is dealing with the consequences of his failed test.
At least. The issue with that substance is it's banned in competition under the WADA code. And under the WADA code, in competition represents the day of the fight, which you could actually essentially fail a test for that a week before the fight.
Anthony Joshua expresses disappointment and disbelief at Teofimo Lopez's failed drug test, underlining how shocking this situation is for the boxing community. While Lopez struggles with explaining himself, Shakur Stevenson's position becomes even stronger. He is portrayed as the professional who does not rely on shortcuts and maintains focus on training and preparation. The contrast between Stevenson and Lopez now extends beyond skill and into character. Fans are drawn to Stevenson's disciplined approach, while Lopez is left scrambling to justify a failure that could derail his career and his credibility in the sport.
Test positive, yeah. It's happened, man. It happens in this sport. It's not new. It's happened to me already. I'm just happy I invest in this
Liam Goff breaks down how long substances can remain in a fighter's system, and even small amounts can have serious consequences. Teofimo Lopez now faces questions about his judgment and preparation, which further elevates Shakur Stevenson as the disciplined, clean fighter ready to perform. Fans are already considering the mental and moral advantage Stevenson holds over Lopez, who now struggles to justify how and why the substance entered his system. This technical perspective reinforces that Stevenson is operating on a professional level, while Lopez's credibility continues to deteriorate in the public eye.
I'm just chucking out there, if depending on the amount, that will depend on how long it remains in your system. So from what I can gather, if you've taken a very limited amount, very little amounts, it could stay in your system, depending on the nature of the test. If it was a saliva test, if it was a urine test, if it was a hair test, it's going to stay in your system a lot longer. But
Duke McKenzie's frustration reflects the widespread disbelief over Teofimo Lopez failing both the initial and B samples. It is clear there is no ambiguity, and this situation cannot be brushed aside. Shakur Stevenson now benefits from this chaos because he remains a model professional and the legitimate contender. The repeated positive results make Lopez look reckless and unprepared, while Stevenson's camp can now confidently prepare, knowing they have the moral high ground and the public on their side. The narrative increasingly favors Stevenson and paints Lopez as the fighter struggling to salvage his reputation.
How can he give a sample and then a B sample and they both come back positive for a banned substance? It doesn't make any sense.
Adam Catterall sums up the sentiment perfectly, as Teofimo Lopez's failed drug test is both shocking and disappointing to the sport. This revelation casts a long shadow over the upcoming fight, and Shakur Stevenson emerges as the disciplined, reliable athlete prepared to capitalize on this mistake. Fans now see Stevenson as the clean fighter ready to prove himself, while Lopez struggles with credibility and trust issues. The emotional weight and public perception now lean heavily in Stevenson's favor, putting Lopez on the defensive even before stepping into the ring.
Incredibly shocking. When any fighter fails a performance-enhancing drug test, it is incredibly shocking and disappointing.
Spencer Oliver's reaction captures the disbelief and outrage over Teofimo Lopez testing positive for recreational drugs, specifically cocaine. For a fight of this magnitude against Shakur Stevenson, this is not just a failed test, it is a massive lapse in judgment and professionalism. Fans and analysts alike are questioning how a fighter could be so careless with their career and the integrity of the sport.
Meanwhile, Stevenson stands out as a model professional, disciplined and fully focused, completely free from any distractions. The contrast could not be starker. Lopez is now under scrutiny and suspicion, while Stevenson is positioned as the clean, reliable fighter ready to step in and dominate. This situation not only damages Lopez's reputation, but also strengthens Stevenson's standing in the eyes of fans, media, and the boxing world at large.
Blown away by what it is, you know, recreational drugs, cocaine. You just go, how has that got in your system? He's got some explaining to do for one, and you think with what you had on the line, and with what you was, you know, what was coming up for you, and the opponent you had in front of you, you just go like, cocaine in your system. It's absurd.
Carl Frampton's statement highlights the gravity of Teofimo Lopez's failed drug test and the potential dangers it represents in a sport as unforgiving as boxing. High-profile fighters are supposed to set standards, and Lopez's actions directly compromise the integrity of the sport and put lives at risk. Shakur Stevenson, in contrast, now benefits from this exposure by maintaining his reputation as a clean, professional athlete who respects the rules and the sport itself. The public narrative is shifting against Lopez as questions of trust, ethics, and safety mount, while Stevenson emerges as the disciplined, capable contender ready to capitalize on a situation where his opponent has undermined himself. This controversy will dominate discussions leading up to the fight, giving Stevenson a psychological advantage and placing Lopez on the defensive.
Well, guys getting caught, and it's just horrible. Genuinely, and I know you without saying, without going fucking fully mental here, I just believe if you're caught with any performance-enhancing drug, you should be banned.
Johnny Nelson emphasizes how timing and recklessness have made Teofimo Lopez's situation even worse. A failed drug test on or near fight day is not just a violation of rules, it is a dangerous gamble that could have serious consequences for everyone involved. For Shakur Stevenson, this turn of events is a massive advantage, as it allows him to approach the fight fully prepared without controversy hanging over his head. Lopez is now facing scrutiny from the board, fans, and media, and every misstep adds to the perception that he is unreliable and unprofessional. Stevenson's discipline and focus stand in stark contrast, enhancing his reputation and making him the more credible and respected competitor. The situation paints Lopez as a fighter struggling under pressure, while Stevenson appears composed and ready to capitalize on the opportunity.
To make the way how he's done it, you know, on the morning of a fight, it's just wrong. It's dangerous, and the board are now in a situation where they think shit. So I don't know how they're going to.
Adam Smith reminds us that boxing is inherently unpredictable, but even within that uncertainty, Teofimo Lopez's failed drug test is a major disruption that cannot be overlooked. Fans were expecting a competitive matchup, but now the narrative has completely shifted to questions of integrity and professionalism. Shakur Stevenson is the one standing out as a prepared, disciplined fighter unaffected by this chaos, highlighting the difference in character and mindset between the two. The unpredictability of the sport now favors Stevenson, as Lopez must answer for his actions, while Stevenson remains focused on performing at his highest level, giving him a psychological and moral advantage going into the fight.
Look, you never know in boxing. It's expect the unpredictable. Do I think it was staged? No.
The fallout from Teofimo Lopez failing his drug test has sent shockwaves through the boxing world and completely shifted the spotlight onto Shakur Stevenson. What was supposed to be a high-profile clash now hangs in uncertainty, leaving fans questioning if Lopez can even step into the ring with credibility or focus. Stevenson, on the other hand, stands tall as the disciplined, clean, and professional fighter who has maintained his preparation without controversy. The moral and psychological advantage is firmly in Stevenson's corner, and every statement, every analysis, and every fan reaction underscores that Lopez's reputation is now in serious jeopardy. If this fight goes ahead, Stevenson enters with not just skill, but complete mental clarity, while Lopez must deal with scrutiny, doubt, and pressure that could affect his performance. This is more than a matchup. It is a statement about professionalism, integrity, and readiness at the highest level.
The stakes are enormous because a win for Stevenson will solidify his status as one of boxing's elite, while a loss for Lopez after this scandal could permanently damage his career. Are you backing Shakur Stevenson to dominate and prove he is the true champion? Or do you think Teofimo Lopez can somehow pull off an upset despite everything? Drop your thoughts below and join the conversation.